stack of gluten-free pancakes with just fruit.
Look how excited he has become. This is when he is lit up. Because this is fruit, this is fruit. He's talking about the fruit. Look at his face. He's like, fruit,
Or a lot of times no animal proteins. You can take one bit of those yams, quinoa, gluten-free pasta.
I love this. Good.
Fish.
It's like raw for fish. Hey, free woman. Welcome back to the Frugivore channel. Today's video is going to be a response to everything Ian Somerhalder eats in a day. Food Diaries, Bite Size, Harper's Bazaar, and that is my terrible singing voice. But anyway, this is going to be the response today, and if you want to see more of these, definitely give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You can do what you want, vote how you want. Just do something if you want to see more of these videos. And I did actually cut my hair. I gave myself a little bit of a long layers, like a fringe, off-grid DIY, and it's the first time I've ever done it, and it kind of like, I didn't watch any tutorials or anything like that. I just went straight in there, and I'm going to put that up on my main channel, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Ian Somerhalder, I don't really know a lot about him. I know a lot of you are going to be like gasping, like, what? You don't know Ian? What is going on? But I don't, okay? Been living under a rock, I guess. Anyway, he's another one of those people who gets paid exorbitant, ridiculous amounts for acting like someone else. All right, let's check him out. He might be a nice guy, but I want to know what he's eating.
Hi, I'm Ian Somerhalder, and this is everything I eat in a day.
Let's do it.
First thing I do when I wake up, I eat 2 small puppies. No, I'm joking. The first thing I do when I wake up.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that one is not a reality. Don't want to be eating small puppies for breakfast. But
The first breakfast and a second breakfast. So we make a lot of our own stuff, right? Nick and I grow a lot of our own food. It's going to sound unnatural.
well, that's great. This is a great start. They grow a lot of their own food like I do myself off-grid. I think that's fantastic. Great start. Let's go.
Really, I eat that much. So I usually have a broth first thing in the morning with a bunch
hopefully it's not a bone broth, because that seems to be the thing in Hollywood at the moment, doesn't it?
of supplements, like vitamin stuff. And
I mean, like, why bother with the supplements? Honestly, the vitamins, you don't need to take them in this, chemical isolate form. Just get it in the whole food, the fruit. First thing in the morning, get that fruit in. It's got the whole package, and you're going to get so much more than these isolated vitamins. Honestly, it's just a waste of money. You're going to be peeing a lot of this out into the toilet. Pricey piss. We talked about this before.
And green juices with
juice.
my...
Okay, green juice doesn't have any fiber. I'm not a fan of green juice. I'm going to be talking about that more. But he's having green juice and he's having tea.
Tea that I then whip in the NutriBullet with coconut oil and cacao and salt, believe it or not. So you're getting the electrolytes, you're getting the caffeine, and you're getting the fat with the cacao. So that's like a energy. Then I train.
No. Ian, I have to pick you up on this one. It's not a... It's more like a... Just like... It's like kicking your adrenal glands big time with all that fat and with the caffeine as well, with the theobromine from the cacao too. That is not actually a healthy way to start the day. Look, I know a lot of people have been fooled into thinking coconut oil is this amazing thing. It's like, yeah, coconut oil, have as much as you want. It's great. Whack it in there. It's marketing, okay? And yes, coconut is great. Eat the coconut, okay? Eat the coconut flesh. It is awesome. I'm a big fan. But the refined coconut fat, coconut oil, it's just 100% pure refined fat. You don't have any carbohydrates, which is where the energy is going to come from, where the fuel is going to come from for your workout, is from the carbohydrates. Doesn't have any vitamins, doesn't have any minerals, doesn't have any protein. It's just 100% fat that is going to go to your fat stores, to your gut. There's no point. So he's starting the morning with this stimulating low carbohydrate kick in the adrenal glands, just this kick. So, no. There is no need to fear the carbs. I'm going to show my body in a moment so you can just see it's not going to make you fat, okay? It makes you long-term healthy. I've been on this lifestyle over 13 years. I've written 3 books about carbohydrates, which you can get in a bundle, which is going to make it much cheaper, and the link is in the description below. But these books are just amazing. They're going to show you how to thrive for life, be lean for life, effortlessly. It just takes some time, and it's super tasty journey. Ian, we need to get you on Raw Till 4. Honestly, he would be like loving Raw Till 4 because he gets to eat all the carbs he wants, gets to eat dessert, all the time, basically all day, which is what we really all want to do at the end of the day. Don't fear the carbs, and I teach you how not to fear the carbs in these books. Check them out. The link is in the description below. All right.
Then I train, and then I gobble like really weird things. I don't eat a lot of meat, so
Whoa,
I
that's
substitute
great. I don't really eat a lot of meat. Like, the fact that he still eats flesh is obviously disturbing, but it's just good to see these celebrities who usually have very, very low standards, you know, say something like that. I think that's great for a start.
with fish, so I have to eat like 2 giant meat, so I substitute it with fish.
Oh, God. Ian. Fish is meat. Meat is fish. Fish is meat. Okay? It is flesh. The flesh of a fish is meat. People need to, like, make that connection. Okay? It's an animal. It's meat. Okay, so he's eating meat. Yeah.
So I have to eat like 2 giant handfuls of nuts, walnuts or cashews or pecans or Brazil
Hang
nuts.
on, why does he have to eat 2 giant handfuls of nuts? I don't understand that. And this is beginning to be a lot of fat first thing in the morning. This is not a great energy source. I just have to tell you the truth here. Every cell, every one of the trillions of cells in your body, and particularly your brain, runs on glucose. Your brain runs exclusively on glucose in a healthy state. So I don't know why he is packing in the fat here. Like, where's the carbs? Where are the carbs? Where is the fruit? I don't know.
Nuts, and then meat. So usually it's fish. And
What? And then he's like, and then meat. And then usually it's fish. But you just said before, you're like, you don't eat meat, but you do have fish, that fish is meat. Now you're saying that you have meat and it's fish. Look, I'm confused. And it's just, he's probably confused because he's not getting enough glucose to the brain. It's going to affect your comprehension of things, your focus. So that's a good thing to just keep in mind, that you got to get the glucose in, the fructose in, if you want to be sharp with your information.
Alternate ocean fish, water fish. Usually,
Honestly, fish is like one of the worst things you can eat. Honestly, it is. It is like full of PCBs, environmental pollutants. He's ripping them from their home in the ocean, and then he's putting them on this grill, and he is heating up all those plastics, all those environmental pollutants, those PCBs, and then ingesting them. It is dirty food, okay? It's not food, obviously. We don't eat fish. Okay, they're not food, but it's just, it's not clean, you know?
broil or pan fry, but I cook in a lot of cast iron or ceramic coated cast iron, which I guess the jury's still out. No non-stick. It is as toxic as the day is long. I mean, on the stove.
No, actually, you know what's toxic? The actual meat, yes, meat, the fish flesh that you are cooking up is far more toxic than the non-stick. Like, far, far, far. I don't understand these people, okay? Like, there's so much crap inside these poor animals, you know, just from swimming in this soup of pollution that we've created with all, you know, the pharmaceutical industry runoff going into the ocean, and then it's absorbed into the fish's fat, and then it's stored in there, into the flesh, and then we come along and eat it, and we think we're eating clean or something.
Of cast iron or ceramic coated cast iron, lemon, a little bit of high heat oil like sunflower oil or something, and salt. Boom, lid, steam it. And then
Where's the
I eat
carbs?
2 giant handfuls of vegetables. So whether it's root vegetables, steamed vegetables, spinach, anything.
Wow, for breakfast, he's getting those veggies in, which is like, I'm a fan of veggies for sure, but it sounds like breakfast, I'm not really going for the veggies. I'm not going for the steamed veggies, but he is. But they are low in carbohydrates. Even though they are vegetables, you're not getting a big bunch of carbs. And I can see that he's already this low carb type, which is a real shame. You know, he's getting the fat, more fat in and more caffeine and less carbs.
So 2 of those on a plate.
Okay.
Gobble that. Nick also makes me, we also make a lot of our own stuff. So she makes me these like amazing chia puddings with coconut milk and chia and cacao and salt. And then she'll just leave that in the refrigerator.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. But not a lot of carbs either.
Get up in the morning and I'll gobble that. In the morning, you know, most people eat tons of carbohydrates. Twice a week, I'll eat just massive.
He said most people eat tons of carbohydrates. It's just because we run on it, you know? It's just fuel. That's why the brain is always pushing us towards the carbs, because it is our preferred fuel source. So then packing in the fat doesn't make sense, does it? So what is he saying here?
That. In the morning, most people eat tons of carbohydrates. Twice a week, I'll eat just massive, huge stacks of pancakes, but it's only like twice a week. Then I'll have my coffee.
Of course, because he is essentially binging out, because he is restricting the carbs during the week, and then he has these, binge outs. It's very, very predictable.
Massive, huge stacks of pancakes, but it's only like twice a week. Then I'll have my coffee, and then the baby gets up.
Whoa! So he's having more caffeine. So he had the caffeine before, and he had the theobromine with the cacao, and now he's having a coffee. So you can see here, like, his adrenal glands are just getting this whack, like, all the time. It's really going to affect his, like, sleep quality and just his overall energy throughout the day. It's not going to be an even ride. It's going to be like this, okay? And especially because of all that fat as well, which is going to sludge up the bloodstream. Okay, so he likes his drugs.
That's the beginning of my morning. That's from 6 to 8:30. Then
Wow.
it's feeding her. It's feeding the baby. Then it's cooking. Then I'll finally sit and I'll have even more sort of steamed or sauteed vegetables with another cup of tea. And so we feed the baby.
Wow, that's more caffeine as well with the tea. Like, he's got to start listening to his body's signs. He's got to start learning about how the body actually works and how it needs carbohydrates, especially first thing in the morning. I haven't seen any fruits, just a whole lot of vegetable, like it's fish, it's fat, and it's caffeine. It's not a good start to the day.
Usually fresh fruits, hash browns, sheep's yogurt or coconut yogurt.
So the baby gets some fruit, which is great, but sheep's yogurt, why would you ever feed your human baby sheep's milk secretion? It doesn't make sense. Just, the human breast milk, hey? Like,
stuff that's fermented and good and high protein. And then we sit there and I'll eat that too. So it sounds kind of insane, but when you eat really clean, you're eating tremendous amounts. It's hard
Hey. Ian, look, this isn't clean though, okay? Eating a whole lot of fish, which we have already established is full of PCBs, environmental pollutants. It's incredibly dirty food, okay? It's not clean at all. That is a well-marketed myth that's a clean way to eat. No. It's absorbed into the flesh of the fish. Then you eat it, then you heat it, then you eat it. It's not healthy. It's not clean, okay? And then he's sludging up his bloodstream with all this fat. This overabundance of fat, which is just going to affect his blood sugar level throughout the day. And he's also having caffeine, which isn't clean. It is a drug. So you see that he's not actually eating clean at all. He's having some vegetables. That's great, but where is the fruit? Where are the carbs, Somerhalder?
do that because that requires tremendous amounts of packaging and plastic, right? So most of the stuff we get is farmer's market stuff.
Good.
Or we grow it. I love trying to really cut all this waste, but I live
I
like
kind of feel like he is on the path. He is on the plant-based vegan path. Like, he's not there, and it's kind of his like, journey at this point reminds me of my own. When I was lost, I didn't know what was the truth. I was just trying all these ways of eating, and it kind of feels like he's on that path as well. So hopefully he progresses, because at this point it's not good.
And I think it's going to become a big movement, which is farmers market vendors are going to start buying stuff in bulk. So you can go and get your dish soap and dishwasher soap and all that stuff. You can buy it in glass from farmers markets. And what they do is they buy it in bulk. It's saving 65 bottles, 65 plastic bottles. So if you have a million
But I mean, like, you don't even need detergent, okay? So rather than have that detergent, you don't need to. You just need water. I eat in a way that only requires water. I never use any dishwashing liquid at all. And that's obviously the most sustainable way to do it. Or you can use some sort of coconut concoction. You don't need to use this dishwashing liquid. That's, the biggest, myth about it all.
lunch, again, is going to be a fish, huge amounts of vegetables.
Leave the fish alone, Ian. Seriously, like, I'm glad he's having a huge amount of vegetables, but a huge amount to some people is not that much. But fish is not clean food. It's not not food at all.
Sweet potato, quinoa,
Good.
big white potatoes,
Yes.
and some high density fats later on. Oh, I forgot.
The high density fats are not required. Oil is not a health food. It is not required in your diet, okay? Even that Abby Not So Sharp is trying to like push oil on her audience. She's just like, she's clueless. She's absolutely clueless, and I'll probably do a video response to that as well. But like seriously, you do not need this 100% refined fat in your diet. Okay, it's not making people healthier. People are just getting fatter and fatter and fatter and sicker and sicker and sicker. It's not helping.
The other thing in the morning I do, half a lemon, lukewarm water, and a quarter of a teaspoon of pink salt.
Okay, this is like a salt water flush, I think. And to do with adrenal glands.
Just goes into your adrenals and just... Now, if you have a heart problem...
No. See, look, he only requires this stuff, and it doesn't even work because he is having so much substances and, you know, foods that are affecting his adrenal glands and giving them this jolt all the time. He's just getting jolted all day, up and down. He's trying to flush it out, basically. That's what happens with this lemon saltwater flush. So don't bother with it, Ian. Just get the carbohydrates in, get the fruit in. Where is the fruit, by the way? We haven't heard much fruit. And you don't need to do these like cleansy things, you know? Dodge.
Really bad idea. If you have high blood pressure, not a good idea. But I'll do that again in the afternoon. I do a lot of coffee and tea, but I also...
Well, of course. See, are you picking this up now? Are you at home picking this up? He does a lot of coffee and tea because it's a stimulant, because he is addicted to drugs. That is the truth, because his diet is deficient. That's the only reason we reach for these stimulants all day like he's doing. He's just off and on coffee. And that is going to be really hard for him to be like his true self and to feel his best. You know, it's going to be very difficult psychologically. And being around someone like that is also very difficult. I've been around it myself. So that's just something to keep in mind. He's reaching for the stimulants because he doesn't have enough glucose, enough fructose, enough fruit in his diet.
So mix it with a tablespoon of coconut oil, and
No.
if you whip it, you're binding caffeine molecules to a fat lipid. So your body burns it slower and more evenly as opposed to
no.
straight up and straight down. And people
That's not
forget.
true. You're still having the same dose. It's still going into your body, okay? I don't see the science on that one, Ian, and, you know, you're still having that dose. So don't be trying to, like, you know, kind of justify taking in this drugs like it's like a food. It's not food. It's not meant to be ingested. Get the food in.
Forget. Yes, sugar is the devil. 1/5.
No, sugar is not the devil, okay? This is just this irrational fear of sugar is crazy. You know, when people are loading up on the fat and they think sugar is the devil, it's just topsy-turvy. It is back the front, okay? Of course, the refined white sugar isn't optimal, but it's still going to fuel your cells, okay? Whereas the fat is just going to be stored as fat. So fueling your cells is obviously more important, isn't it? And it's not going to be stored as fat because sugar is rarely stored as fat through de novo lipogenesis, okay? This does not happen in a normal situation. So look, Ian, no, don't be worried about sugar.
1/5 of all the sugar and 1/5 of all the oxygen your body intakes, your brain uses. So you have to remember to give it that. I always
Okay,
do.
so he's saying the importance of sugar then for a moment, kind of quietly. Yes, Ian, you need to get the sugar in. Sugar is important. Okay, your brain actually runs exclusively on sugar, on glucose. So it is very, very important. And in a healthy state, that's what your brain is running on. And that's why if you're not getting enough to your brain and you're having caffeine, you're not going to feel mentally healthy. You're not going to have this, you know, even psychological state.
Do what The Rock says. It's not a cheat, it's a treat meal. So a treat meal
yourself every
is
day.
just this like giant, massive, amazing stack of gluten-free pancakes with just fruit.
Look how excited he has become. This is when he is lit up because this is fruit, you know, this is fruit. He's talking about the fruit. Look at his face. He's like, fruit, yeah, like this giant stack of carbohydrates with sugar and sauce and fruit, and he's excited about it because it's just natural. Because the brain is like, yeah, eat more of that, hey?
Fruit and maple
Loved it.
syrup. Although
Maple
I didn't realize how much energy production it takes to get maple syrup. You know, you tap this tree and then you boil this stuff for hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean hours. Yes.
How come he hasn't analyzed the energy production behind fish, the fishing industry, and other meats, you know? And also the sheep's yogurt. That's obviously worse than maple syrup.
I love maple syrup, but I use either local honey. You can also just take blueberries and just grind them and put like a little sugar or a little honey in them, and all of a sudden you get this like amazing compote situation. Another great.
He loves it. He was so excited.
And all of a sudden
he loves it. He was so excited then. Fruit.
Another great treat: dark chocolate, loaded with antioxidants. It's got some caffeine in it, but it's just so good for you. It's ridiculous.
No. It's not so good for you. That's another well-marketed lie. Stop believing the industry lies, okay? It's not really good for you. It is a stimulant. It's a fatty stimulant. That's what it essentially is. Whole lot of fat, whole lot of theobromine stimulant. Antioxidants, get them from fruit. That is the #1 source in the world, like for humans to eat. Antioxidant source from fruit. So why bother with chocolate? But he's going to this dense calorie source because he is low in carbohydrates and it contains carbohydrates. He's starving himself throughout the day and he's going, binging.
You can also just take cacao, turmeric, honey, a little bit of salt. You can just mix it with hot water and shake it up, and it's like dessert, but it's loaded with all these huge superfood sort of properties.
This is what happens when you don't have enough fruit. You're going to go for other sources of sugar, which is honey. He's saying adding sugar as well. That's just how it goes.
Every dinner, we
Maple
make sure
syrup.
we get home as a family. Dinner, again, is super crazy healthy starches. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, quinoa, gluten-free pasta.
I love this. Good.
Fish.
It's like raw for fish. He's got the fish in there again. He's going to have a lot of heavy metal in his body. This can adversely affect your nervous system and your hormonal balance. Ian, you're going to have a lot of mercury in there for a start. This is not good. Having fish at all is not good, but having it 3 times or maybe more a day, it stores in your body. It literally stores there and it stays there. And then it affects your health. Bad.
Vegetables. Or a lot of times no animal proteins. You can take one big head of lettuce, cut it up, put it in a cast iron pan, water and salt, cook it down a bit, boom, olive oil, spices, whatever you want, and bam, you have this amazing vegan, amazing meal. You can put
Wow, he said vegan too. Yes, and it just makes me think that he is he's thinking about it. He's looking in that direction, and we just need to give him that kick. He's probably checking it out. He needs to get more educated, that's for sure. But I'm so glad that he's talking about veganism. He's recommending a plant-based dish.
Rice, quinoa, you get incredible amounts of nutrients and carbohydrates and proteins from dense, amazing vegetables.
Yes.
The planet's better for it. Your body's better for it. Your brain, your energy production, all of it. That's it. That's everything I eat.
That's great. I'm so glad that he ended with that. Why doesn't he not realize that the fish is not needed then? He just said, he's like, you get a whole lot of nutrition. It is great for the planet, great for your health, great for your body. That's what confuses me with these people. And look, he is confused himself, okay? And he thinks he needs the protein likely from the fish. And obviously that is not true, okay? I've been thriving on this lifestyle for over 13 years. No protein deficiencies. It doesn't matter. It's just this ridiculous marketing again. So, all right, I'm gonna round it up here. So glad that he ended with a bit of a vegan message. I just want him to actually jump on board on vegan, on plant-based at the very least, and actually feel the benefits and realize that you don't need to eat animals. You don't need to. And not only that, it is cruel to eat animals. It is unnecessary. Stop it. You're not going to get any good protein source or anything like that. But to round it up, he is obviously having a whole bunch of caffeine throughout the day, a whole bunch of fat, and this is affecting his blood sugar levels, and he's not having enough carbohydrates. So his energy is just going to go whoa, and his mental state and his focus is going to be all over the place because he is having these drugs and not enough real food like fruit. Fruits and vegetables, he's having some vegetables, but not enough fruit. He needs that simple sugar. He needs that simple fructose energy, and he's really not getting it. So you can see what happens with a fructose deficiency throughout the day. It ends up in stimulants and too much fat. Alright, that's my video for today. Let me know down below who you want to see a video on next, and I have a list. It will be coming, and so stay tuned for that. Alright, don't forget my bundle. The link is in the description below. This is going to change your life, and I will see you soon.